Brazil, and then to India, and then by the end of the day, And as Africans, we need to start doing that. I am proud of companies like Fred Swaniker's ALX. They've gone to buy a company in California. Not a Californian company come to buy an African, no. An African company has gone to buy, a Ghanaian company has gone to buy a company in California. On Afrique, they used to be called MFS Africa. They went to buy a fintech in the States. So now Africans were bold. ZPay, go open offices in the Caribbeans, Barbados, Bahamas. Who thinks that way? But he's heading in that direction. So one of the reasons that they're also looking for you to 10x, because unfortunately a lot of startups fail. And they fail for different reasons, right? Lack of product market fit. You thought you entered into this market, like the printer example, you don't go into printing, you found a way to do very efficient printing, everything's digital. The product fails. Team. We talked about how important the team is. There's a company in Nigeria, they had raised, I think, like $5 million, and then there's a fallout between the two founders, the company's now deceased. Nothing to do with bad market, they had good product, they had a good structure, just the two co-founders disagreed, whole company's gone. All that investment is also now gone. So whether it's new entrants coming down with AI, or the economy doing this thing, the CD fluctuating or just falling, or new technology coming in, government regulation changing. If you're crypto in Nigeria, one day you're in business, next day you're shut down, you're in business again, you're shut down again, right? The investors that trusted you, that analyzed, they spent, when they tell you due diligence and how many months it takes, that's a whole other thing and cost. But they put money in it, they trusted you, but for one of these reasons, besides, this is not looking at fraud and all of those other things, right? We're ruling all of that, we have honest people in the room, so I'm not even going to talk about that. But for one of these reasons, your company might fail, so that 10x needs to capture the losses of those other companies. So let me phrase this another way. Are you confident enough to risk your entire pension on your business? I like that. We have one person. But this is a real question you should think about. Because if you're asking someone who is going to borrow money from a pension fund and promise the pension fund, I'll give you 2x, and maybe it's even more, and now they come to give you money and you fail, the pension fund that's planning to give you money doesn't have the money to give you back. So it's almost as if you can go to Snit itself and say, Snit, all the pension money I'm going to be giving you for the next 30 years, give it to me now, because my business is going to succeed. Are you that confident? So the due diligence that these investors do, and the reasons they say no sometimes, they say yes, but sometimes, because they might not be as confident about your business. They can't see the traction, they can't see the teamwork, they can't see the standard operating procedures you have written down. Please stress written down, not just in your head. Right? They can't see the cohesion. They can't see you articulating where you're going to be in 5 years' time. Not just, I'm going to be bigger and better. No, but where exactly? Have you reached Lagos, or are you in Nairobi now? Like, where exactly are you going to be? So you have to be able to articulate and clearly show, because they are betting your future on you, or betting their sister's future on you. That's what it really comes down to. So the money timeline, how it works. VCs actually, and this is the funny part, because we are here sweating and looking to them as gods and oh please, I hope I get some money from you, but they play the same game. They are actually going to the LPs and, hey buddy, how we doing? I'm a fund manager, I have good traction, I invested well, my team is very good together, top skills, blah, blah, blah. The same pitch you gave to VCs, let's say GPs are given to LPs. The big family offices, the big Saudi wealth funds, Singapore wealth funds, to get money. This is where you come in, right? This is red line. Because now they make investments into promising ventures after due diligence. Next, within 5 to 7 years, typically, plus or minus 2 years, and correct me, I see the VCs nodding, so I'm glad I'm not too far off. They need to exit, right? And then they pay back the sources of where they got their money from. And I think it's very important to understand that, because quite often as a business, you just look at your immediate needs and like, oh, I need 50,000 for a new machine. I need 100,000 for 10 new staff for 1 year. But you're not understanding the VC side of, okay, I need to come into your company, value it, take a stake in your company, so I'm coming in 100,000 for 10%, and then that has to actually manifest into cash within 5 to 7 years. Because where I get my money from, they are saying, in 8 years, bring me that cash back times 2. Is that making sense? Excellent. So VCs realize their gains from sales of shares. There are multiple rounds of investment. So sometimes when they go from C to Series A or Series A to Series B, they would exit the company and the new investor takes over their shares. Or they wait for a merger or acquisition. If you look at a company like Stripe, it bought Paystack, right, for like $200 million. So that's a merger acquisition where VCs then got to exit. Or an IPO. The Jumia, which is the Amazon of Africa, they had an IPO on the New York Stock Exchange, and that got them the unicorn status, right? That's really the only way VCs actually make money. There might be a few other things, they might have a few funds they put and buy some T-bills, but I don't think they play that game. So it's only when you grow successfully and reach the potential that you set out to reach, that they get to liquidate their holdings in your business, and then get some money as wins, but give a lot of the money back to where they got it from. So timeline, you see different funding cycles. I won't go this, I think we talk a little bit, but pre-seed, seed, and you go up in rank. Maybe another way to look at it is that you start off from an idea stage, looking at very little money, $15,000, so 100,000 Ghana cedis about, and you keep growing, and you have different places you get your funding from and how much you're valued, right? Until you hit your IPO status and you join the leagues of the Facebooks, the Ubers. I believe now SpaceX is looking to go have an IPO. So this is kind of how the startup funding cycle works. But there are also VC alternatives, right? So apart from VCs, you have people like high individuals. Jeremy Frimpong from Bayer Leverkusen, the new champions of Germany. He invested into Remotely, a Ghanaian IT BPO company. You have people like Sir Sam Jonah, very successful in his gold venture, CEO of Ashanti Gold, started his own family office, and other former founders like Paul, who was a Mest startup, as Ashwin's left the room, so started from Ashwin's incubator, Mest, grew, and then exited to a company called Smile ID for close to $15 million. Now, you just have to imagine, yes, he diluted, he got some investments coming in, but what percentage is he sitting on of 15 million? So now he has enough to start investing to new companies. These are alternatives from the classic VCs, right? So VCs are good, VCs are there, but there are other sources as well you can look at for funding. And also the other emerging financing options. You have grants, and now more and more large institutions like GSMA are offering grants to companies that are doing things that are very impactful. Impact Investment Ghana, they're in the room. They help people find impact funds. Impact funds are almost like VC funds, but maybe instead of 10x, they might want 5x, but you want to make sure you're doing something with a strong, positive externality, right? You really do something to really positively impact the environment, the social life of people. You have the Ghana Commodities Exchange. For a lot of people in the agri space, you can now actually sell goods before someone comes to buy it. So it's no longer, okay, I have rice sitting there in a warehouse, but I don't have money. You can sell your rice to the exchange and then use that money for other things, right? And I'm willing to talk to you in chambers if you want more explanation, and some contacts are there. Crowdfunding, UNCDF worked on the Crowdfunding Act with the Securities Exchange. So now we're enabling more people to put money together. Imagine that it's like a susu, right? But susu with them taking a stake of your business. So many people, 10, 100,000 people come together, all put 10, 50, 100 Ghana cedis into a pot, and then use that pot to invest and support businesses, right? And then of course, revenue sharing. New models of investments are now coming up, where it's kind of like a loan, kind of like an investment, but I will give you money and I'll share the money you generate until a certain amount, and then I'll leave you alone, right? And of course, clients. This should be your favorite source of making money. And now, and looking at the VCs in the room, more and more, before it's about your potential of making money. Now more and more, before more about your potential, now they want to see your traction. Now they want to see that you're actually having customers, as Ashton was saying. They want to see your actual customers. So it's less about the potential of what you can do, but now it's about the actual of what you're doing, because profitability is now king. So SMEs, what are you going to do differently now? I don't know if we're out of time, but okay. But with this, I'll leave this thought for you to fester and think about. Understanding where money actually comes from. So when someone says no, it's not that they don't like you, but they can't risk your pension and their pension on your business because you haven't convinced them enough. So what you can do differently now? We've heard great words of wisdom from the VCs. You can't thank them enough for sharing that. I hope you're going home and making sure you have written standard operating procedures for each thing you're doing, procurement, decision making, and so on. I hope you empower your team to really be one with you. I hope you elevate people so it's not one chief and just people running around, but a team moving in the right direction. I hope you start making sure your sales numbers are good and you document it so you can boldly show your traction with audited accounts, right? And I hope you understand where the money is coming from. So the importance of making sure that your plans and your actions align with what the money is supposed to do. Thank you very much. So, as in Accra, Tech Entrepreneurship in Africa is our LinkedIn page. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Happy to share resources, documents, guides, and I'm all about supporting SMEs moving forward. We have so much potential in this country that needs to be realized, so we really need to work together. The person sitting next to you could really be your business partner, could be your source of financing, could be your advisor, right? So make sure you network, it's super important. There are VCs in the room. Even if you don't need money now, make sure you just get their names, get their numbers for the time that you do. And yeah, looking forward to seeing your success stories coming up soon. Thank you.
And another round of applause for Isaac. Isaac, thank you very much. So he's giving us a crash course there in VC, and we found out what a game is. It's not basketball, it's chess. It's chess, so you have to be strategic. And we'll move quickly to our next panel. It's about supporting SMEs with affordable investment readiness services. I believe it will be a short one. And our panelists are Yaolati from Deloitte. Yaolati from Deloitte. Okay, he stepped out. Okay. Dennis, oh, okay. So Dennis is here. Please let's welcome him with a round of applause. Dennis will represent, we have Alice Osei Okra from EY. Alice, okay. Let's welcome her. And we have Daniel Kumsin, PwC. Daniel Kumsin from PwC. We have Randolph Arnaud from KPMG. Randolph. And then we have our moderator. I don't know if he's here. Yes. Nelson Amo from InnoHub. It's Nelson in. Emilia, do you have an update on Nelson? He's on. So where are the questions?
She sent it. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp right now.
Okay. Okay, so I'm told I have to stand in for Nelson, so clap for me too. As I go. Okay. Good evening to the panelists. Let's see. So I think the topic is supporting SMEs with affordable investment readiness services. Maybe we could begin by why do SMEs need investment readiness services in the first place? We know what our investment needs are. Why do we need investment readiness services? I don't know, anyone could set a ball rolling. Maybe I'll start with Alice. Sorry. Okay. So let's do the introductions again. So it's clearer. So let's start with you.
So I'm Clara Martifield-Taylor, representing PwC.
PwC. Oh, okay. So you are standing in for Daniel.
Yes, I'm the female version of Daniel.
Sorry, you are the?
I'm the female version.
Female version of Daniel. Okay. Sorry, your name again?
Clara Martifield-Taylor.
Clara.
Yes.
Clara. Nice to meet you. Okay. From PwC.
Okay, my name is Randolph Arnaud from KPMG. I guess because we come from an accounting background, when my other colleagues realized that maybe the panel was going to be maybe male-dominated, they decided to balance.
They decided to make it.
Balance is important.
So it's very important. Balance is very important. So we have two ladies and two gentlemen. So perfect balance there. Okay, Alice.
With Ernst & Young, yes, EY.
Nice.
And I'm Dennis Brown, a member of the financial advisory team at Deloitte.
Okay, so Dennis standing in for Yao. Okay, nice. So we have a solid panel here. So Clara, why do firms, SMEs need affordable investment readiness services in the first place?
So we've been through a lot of sessions where the investors have spoken about the quality of information that they get from SMEs, as well as them being able to see the returns they can make and the opportunities for exit. So SMEs need affordable investment readiness services so that they are able to present their growth story appropriately. They are also able to identify the best form of capital they require at that particular point in time and how much of that capital they actually need. and what their growth story would look like. And it needs to be affordable, because as an SME, you're trying to gain traction in the market, you're trying to grow, you're trying to win customers. So your financial pipeline to pay for expensive services is really quite limited. That's why it needs to be affordable.
Okay, fantastic. You said something, growth story. Growth story. I would like Randolph to speak to that. So could it be that there's some storytelling that needs to be done? Is it that it's not just enough to have certain requirements, but there's a storytelling aspect to investment readiness?
Yeah, there's a lot of storytelling. Oftentimes, you might have done as a business, you might have operated for a long time. You go to pitch. How do you get the potential investors to trust that you have growth potential? You need to show, you need to evidence that. And that is the kind of story that you'll be telling them. How are you evidencing that? One way could be through your business plan that you have done. That gives anybody the confidence and the comfort that you are viable. In the morning, Professor Tego mentioned viability and feasibility. What numbers have you churned out so far? What have you done? A lot of businesses or in the SME space have done a lot of things, but many times when you ask them to tell their story, they can't. And that is why they need firms like us to help them to package the story. I think earlier in the morning, somebody also mentioned that when you are going for a fundraising, for instance, and you have a transaction advisor on your side, the story is easy to tell because we understand the requirement precisely. We understand the requirement, and we can help you package yourself to tell the story better. You may know yourself, but you may not be able to tell that story better on your own. Therefore, you need a storyteller, and we come in to help you to sell that story well, so the VCs and others who have funds can put the money or give you the funding you require.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Randolph. So I see a kind of some sort of rules emerging for the transaction advisor as far as investment readiness is concerned. So I've seen a role of storyteller. I've seen, could I say a coach? Sort of a coach to the business. I don't know if Alice, maybe you could give us a specific case of where you've had to walk a firm through investment readiness, so we can have some, concrete examples to see what the whole process looks like.
All right, thank you very much. And to add to what my previous speakers have indicated, is of paramount importance that you get a transaction advisor. When Andrew mentioned it, and Nana from Northland also reiterated it, I was smiling that they've made our work easy. The essence of having a transaction advisor to help you package the transaction, take you through the whole process. During the session that just ended, I think a key issue that came up was valuation. How do I even value my company? You may have a number in mind. The potential investor would also have, a number based on some computations they've made. But once you engage a transaction advisor who have expertise in the valuation of that particular company and that sector, will be able to articulate, that value to help you arrive at what we call a fair market value between a willing buyer and a willing seller. So even when you are negotiating and you are at a deadlock, we come in, as professionals from an independent standpoint, and we are able to do that. We also help with the due diligence process. So for the whole process, starting with maybe a teaser, high-level overview of what the transaction is, what you are looking for, the funds you are raising, the application of funds, very high level. So we will do that, work with you on getting some pre-selected investors that we will send these teasers to. They will express their interest. We go through non-disclosures. We have a detailed information memorandum, that talks about the opportunity, the market accessibility, how you're going to scale, have a robust financial model, work with you to build assumptions. So before you even approach the investor, you are ready. We've done this severally, all of us here. Our firms have done this severally. We've seen some of the key points that are deal breakers. So we're able to take you through, due diligence, being a financial, looking at your quality of earnings. Do you have specific one-off transactions, or what we call concentration risk? How do you mitigate this? The funds you are raising, is it to scale to get access to a wider market so that any potential investor coming in knows that there's a risk, but this is how you're mitigating. So we're able to help you do all those due diligence. We're also able to help you in terms of financial, tax, commercial. In the room, it was very fulfilling to see some of these transactions we've worked with, some of the clients for successful financial close, but in terms of confidentiality, you can't disclose, but it gives you so much fulfillment. You see where you took the transaction from and the value you brought on board and how they're able to reach financial close. So as you bring in transactional advisors, it really adds value, to the process, and it gives confidence to the potential investor, being it a PE or venture capital or angel invested at the very next stage. So these are some of the value proposition we come on board right from the start to financial close. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Alice, that was quite comprehensive. Oh, please feel free to clap. Thank you. If we have to clap, let's recognize that. Very comprehensive, the walkthrough there. Are there any things that an SME has to do in terms of requirements, in terms of prerequisites, to be able to fully take advantage of the services that a firm like any one of the big four offers as far as investment readiness is concerned? Maybe Dennis, you'd like to speak to that. What does the SME have to do to be ready for investment readiness? What does the SME have to do?
Okay, I don't think SMEs need to do anything, special in particular.
Okay.
They only need to approach.
Okay.
They have to, up until now, I think most SMEs have a certain mindset that big fours are expensive. They are too expensive to work with. We want them to, break that thing out of their minds.
Okay, so break it out of your mind.
Yes.
You get it out of your mind.
There's always room for SMEs in our budget.
Okay.
Currently, as we speak, together with Gvca, we've come out with what we call SME rates.
Okay.
And so
maybe you could elaborate a little bit of that, because I understand there's a partnership with GVCA
exactly.
and all of that. Maybe you could touch, because for many SMEs, SMEs are small and medium enterprises, and you are big four. So they are small and medium, and you are big four. So it's small and medium versus big four. So immediately we will say, nah, this is outside of our range. But now you are telling us that no, you are within our range. So maybe you should touch it.
We've always been, I think, the big four. They tell me there's a history to it. I don't want to, bore anyone with it. I'm not sure we called ourselves the big four per se, but it's just how things turn out. But what we advise is for them to approach us. Okay. We have a range of services that we provide to SMEs, and currently, as we speak, we have a partnership with Gvca, where we've managed to put up some rates that we can use to price SME services. So they don't need to do anything special; they just need to approach us. And then we discuss, we see, the budget they have and what we can do for them. That's all they need to do.
Okay, thank you. I think, Alice, you want to add something?
Okay, I think he rightly alluded to the fact. So we've worked together as Big Four to come up with highly discounted rates, So each of the firm, we have like a rate card for the services we offer. But it is worth stating that each scope will be negotiated separately. So we may have a range of, let's say, business review from maybe a 6,000 to 12,000. But if your scope is very extensive, we will negotiate slightly higher. We have a range for audit services, So if you are auditing your books, because it adds a lot of value to a potential investor, we have rates that we've worked with our other partners, our assurance partners, our tax partners, Some of our partners were in the room, but they've left for other meetings. Okay. We have, rates that we've come up with, commercial due diligence, ESG due diligence. So all the key services that is required for SMEs to be able to reach financial close, we've come to an agreement where we have indicative rates, highly discounted, but depending on the scope and the transaction you intend undertaking, we're able to negotiate within that range so that the value we bring on board will be realized from that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think before we come to, I think Randall wanted to add something. I could see,
Yeah, I just wanted to add a bit to it to say, listen, the SMEs, you are the real deal here. Yeah. Listen, everything that has happened here today is all about you. When Isaac did his presentation, he mentioned that if you do well, the GPs, the LPs will do better. If you do well, we in the Big Four will also do well. Yeah. The reason why you have businesses in the US, or let's say even the Big Four, in the Europes, in the Americas and the rest, the reason why they are bigger than those of us in Ghana is because their businesses are doing great. And therefore, it is an investment that we are making. So Alice indicated that we have discounted. It's a bet. We are believing that you will do well. And when it is that you do well, we will all smile. Yeah. Just like the GPs and the LPs, we also want to smile. So we are taking a bet now in you. So Dennis had mentioned earlier, just be bold and approach. Yeah. We are not the man behind the mask. We are masking ourselves. So be bold and approach.
I like that.
And we will all be smiling together. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, okay, Clara, please.
I'd also like to add that it's a journey, and we're willing to go on that journey with you. Day one of the journey may not mean raising capital, but it's leading you to that direction.
Absolutely.
So like Dennis has said, be bold and approach.
Be bold. So those are the key words. It is be bold. They have special packages for you. Be bold and approach. And yes.
And we want to grow with you.
Sorry?
We want to grow with them.
We want to grow with you.
So scale.
I also think it's very important for us to correct an impression that has been out there that Big Fours don't work with SMEs. It's not true. We do a lot with SMEs already, and I'm sure if we look across our portfolios, we find SMEs coming. In fact, if I want to give specific examples, this year alone, we have closed 2 deals on capital raising services, and these are for SMEs. And Deloitte currently provides a subscription-based, service for SMEs as well. We do a lot with institutions in, the capacity building area for SMEs as well. So we do a lot with SMEs. It's not true that, as for Big Fours, you don't step there, you get bent. It's not true. So just be bold and approach us, and we'll find a solution for you.
Okay, so the SMEs, this is for you. So we've been told to be bold and approach, and then they are beaming with smiles. They are beaming with smiles, so they are there for you, and they are ready to help. Are there instances where clients have engaged you to lead a fundraising process on their behalf? And how does that work? I don't know who wants to take that.
Okay, maybe I'll take that. Of course, this is one of the mainstays for our corporate finance team.
Okay.
And our financial advisory services. And I did mention when I spoke earlier, gave 2 examples of how we've closed 2 deals for SMEs in terms of capital raising. One in the pharmaceutical industry and the other in the IT space. And so it's been a very good year for us. What typically happens, if an SME needs capital, will be for them to reach out. Okay. And when they do, there's a process to follow. Not to bore you with the process, but just high level of it. Typically starts with the basic information about the opportunity, which is the investment opportunity, which I think Alice mentioned earlier. You call the teaser, investment teaser. Now, the value that Big Fours really provide, I think, lies in the fact that over the years, they've built a very wide network of investors. Okay, we have a database that shows a very wide network of investors that when we have your teaser and have a contract to help you raise capital, what we do is to blast the teaser to them. So at a goal, you have maybe about 50 investors, out of which maybe about 20 will take interest in your opportunity.
That's what investment is.
That's where the process starts. And then they would like to ask for more information. The process typically then has to start with them signing an NDA so that there's protection of your data. Then they will make a non-binding offer. Then there will be further reviews where the due diligences and then the valuations and all those things come in just so they can price the transaction properly. And then if they are still interested at that point in time, it is expected that they would have understood the risks and opportunities in your business enough for them to take a decision as to whether they want to go ahead or not. Then they can make a binding offer. And then, you are getting towards the end of the process. I've said it as if it's a very short process, but it can be long.
Clara has already told us it's a journey. So, Clara, you want to chip in?
Yes, and one more thing to add on to what Dennis has said. We also help you to review the sales and purchase agreement or the share purchase agreement along with legal advisors, because we find that a lot of SMEs sign these agreements and later on down the line realize that there were conditions they're supposed to meet, they haven't met it, and all of a sudden the VC has a bigger stake in their business than they think they should have. So it's something else that we'll sit down with the legal experts and work through so that you are clear of the terms that you are getting into.
Okay, and you are able to provide all of that assistance, the legal, and so it's an end-to-end service. Fantastic. I think we've covered the essential areas. Maybe it's almost 5. I'll take the concluding remarks. So maybe we can start with Dennis, and then we end with Clara.
Okay, my concluding remarks will be, advice to the SMEs. I think in my experience, the few times I've had to engage SMEs, and we've done SMEs deals for buy side as well. So an investor approaches you, they've identified an SME business they want to buy into, so you need to go and review them. Some of the challenges that we find mostly revolves around, provision of information and clarity of same, and also transparency on the part of the management of the SMEs. Sometimes you go in there and the SMEs want the investment badly, and they tend to think that, if they hide periods of bad performances and they find a way to smoothing things out, they are likely to, do the deal. But they are rather shooting themselves in the foot, because typically investors are not working about just looking at the first sign of bad performance and then, there's the deal breaks. No. Sometimes they are looking for something far beyond that, transparency, because they are not only investing in the business, they are investing in the management of that business. So they are looking for things like strong corporate governance structures, good team, how transparent you are with provision of. You have to be clear as to what your weaknesses and strengths are, so that they can decide whether they want to go ahead, and if they want to go ahead, where are the risks and what they need to do to mitigate them. That's primarily what they are looking for. So when you have such an opportunity, it's very important that you come with a very transparent mindset to be able to lay bare exactly what it is, so they can take the right decision. It's not true that once you have 2-3 years of bad performances, you're not going to get
out. Yeah. It's not true. Just please hold on with the concluding remarks. I saw a hand go up there. Okay. No, please go ahead. It looks as if you can speak without a mic. So.
Francis Okoskobi is my name. I have 3 straight questions to ask them. Okay, I'll do 2. Okay. The first question is, looking at how the processes, the due diligence, this and that before our story gets to the financier, how is our business idea protected? Because we go through a lot of things, grave sales, this, how is the business idea and the trade secret of the business will not protected after your deal with us before it gets to the financier? Because most businesses, sometimes it gets to that level and the business idea is taken by the support unit. And the second question is, now that we are talking beautifully here, when we come to the office, how is the approach like? Why I'm asking those questions is sometimes you meet the banks in conferences, or come to our bank, we have this for you, we have this for you. You get there, sometimes you call, most especially government agencies, most of their landlines are not working. You send email, they will not respond. You get to the office, secretary, reception doesn't know what you want in the office. Thank you.
The voice of the people has spoken.
Thank you very much. So let me just summarize this question. So they are quite clear. The first one had to do with confidentiality issue regarding the businesses, the client's ideas, if I'm not mistaken. The second one was about about how receptive you were. You said that we should be bold and approach, but how receptive. So maybe we can all take a shot quickly.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe Clara, you could set a ball rolling.
Okay, so for the first one, in terms of confidentiality, you'd recall Dennis mentioned non-disclosure agreements, which is an agreement that we'll sign with you upfront, and part of the clauses in there is to protect your idea. And when we get into the contracting phase, all of us, our engagement letters have confidentiality clauses that are legally binding on us. So you can be well assured that your idea will not be sold by any of us sitting or any of the firms we represent to another institution.
Sure. And also to add to that, most of the projects we work on, I think it's similar, runs across the Big Four. We give the project name. So sometimes you'll be in the same service line, the same unit, but if you are not working on that project, you will not even know the details. So you hear Project Eagle, Project Breeze. It's only the core team members that knows the details. When we're doing the teaser, you will get a project name, and it's on a no-name basis. So we try as much as possible to protect your idea, and before we disclose anything, as had been reiterated from the other speakers, we have the NDA in place. And in terms of accessibility, I'll take my comments, my concluding remarks, and add that as well. So when it comes to assessing or providing service to SME, I think Dennis and other members mentioned that we really do a lot in that space. And for most of those services, they are free. Capacity building, we have a workshop we run. So for EY, we have the 7 drivers of growth we run for SMEs that will help you, so it's a framework you'll be answering. So when it comes to your technology, when it comes to your people, your access to market, customers, at the end of the day, you have a report that helps you as a business owner to know your pain points or the areas for development. And all these are done at no cost to you. It's to really help you come up with the opportunity where we can help guide you, before we even think of extending it into an engagement. But we really do a lot in terms of capacity building. And in terms of accessibility, we all have our ways of operating. We are here now, all of us, I think the lead for all the transaction services, our emails, our details are on the brochure. If you have access, you scan, it's there. You can get our phone numbers. You send an email, you call us, we schedule. Because we deal with a lot of clients, sometimes it's difficult. Maybe you just walk in, the partner is not even in the office. He's at the client site. So it's always very important you work with us. We arrange and confirm, those meetings. It makes it very easy. Sometimes you can walk into the office and the PA or front desk assistant will ask you to book. So it's always better now that you have direct access to us via our mails. You reach out, we arrange a time, we have a conversation. If we are doing, so we've done quite a lot in terms of groups. So early this year, late last year, we did a whole session for about 250, 350 MPA. So we just categorized them, those in the upstream, midstream, downstream, those in schools, international schools. We put all of them together. So you have about 30 or 40 people in one room. They have similar, interest or similar ask. You take them through. So these are things we do periodically. So it's very important you work with us, so that we're able to help you as we build this relationship and grow with you. But if you just walk in and maybe there's the client or the partner is not available, or the key people involved are not available, you think that, we are not accessible. But if we work with you and plan, we'll be able to achieve the objectives. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to ask, in terms of your first, sorry, Dennis. In terms of your first question on the confidentiality, listen, the Big Four, we are all about reputation. Reputation. The reason why a VC, when they see work done by any of us, they would easily trust it is because of our reputation. And so know that we are not going to soil our reputation just because of really how much will we even get. And all of these things are in the contract that we sign with you. Sometimes at the point of engaging, there are non-disclosure agreements. And it's not just that. We have trainings that we do annually where people are taking through this, because we have other firms that have collapsed because of some of these things. So we don't take these things for granted at all. Reputation is important. So know that just like you go to a doctor and you are sick and you are open, you are not scared. When the doctor says, do this, you can do it freely and not be afraid. When you come to us, get that assurance. It's part of our training. Or you go to a lawyer, as part of a lawyer's work, confidentiality is key. So it's the same as us. So when you come to us, just have the confidence that your ideas are protected. Number two, in terms of contacting us, I would say practically now, we have an arrangement with GVCA. So if you belong to GVCA, you can go through GVCA to come to us. That's an approach that you can adopt. If you are with any of the VCs or you are in their pipeline, you can go through the VC, because the services that we are offering is for GVCA's members and their intended investees. So you can go through them, or you have our direct access as well. You can reach out, and maybe when you reach out and you are not getting the desired response, because we have an arrangement with GVCA, you can come to GVCA and complain to them that this your guys, they said they will do this and they are not. So that's something that you can do. Know that we are in this, we trust, that is why we are doing it. So when you reach to us, we will open up to you, but also be prepared that you want to do the right thing, and you as a business want to grow. So you may come to us and we may assess you and we may not take you on because maybe you are not serious. We want businesses that are serious. So it is no joke. So don't take it like any business will come and you have to really be serious to get somewhere, because like I said earlier, we are putting our skin in the game, and therefore we are looking for serious businesses that want to scale 10x. You want to get there, we want to get there with you. Businesses that have that growth mindset. Maybe just to end, I got in touch with an SME, and the lady, I would say this in Twi, the lady said, "Mikuta kenten mediko nsuo, enso nsuo no enyunu, and also bebuame." Maybe for those of you who don't understand, the person was telling me that she's using a basket to fetch water. Traditionally the kente or the bamboo basket, if you can't use that to fetch water, it will pour out, right? But she was like, I'm using this to fetch water. So what she was saying is that I know I have deficiencies, but I'm not willing to open up for you. You understand? So because I've been using this to fetch water all this while, and I'm okay. Definitely such a business, then you are not.
Improvement becomes an issue.
Improvement becomes an issue. So have growth mindset. If you have it, we're going to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rindolph. I saw Dennis was itching to.
I just wanted to add that, the fear that you express is exactly the reason why you should choose to work with a Big Four. Because there's nowhere else you'll be guaranteed, better protection than a Big Four will. As they've all said, we have the structures and systems in place, and it's part of our professional etiquette to protect your information. And so if you have those fears, the way you deal with that is to actually approach a Big Four. And for the reception, when you come to the office, I think your best bet is to get our cards. Okay, so we approach and get a card and call the person rather than walk to the reception. I don't have control over what the receptionist may tell you or do. So if you get my card and you call me, that will be, better. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Dennis, Alice, and then Randolph sort of weaved in their concluding remarks into the. I don't know, Clara, if you want to. Yes, if you want to share your concluding remarks, and then we'll take a comment from. Yeah.
Okay. So in a conclusion, I'll say that despite the tough economic operating environment, there are lots of opportunities for SMEs who are in certain sectors and who are positioned for growth. So we are open to having conversations and discussions, but also you need to be clear on what type of capital do you need, what do you need the capital for, and ultimately, how are you going to get your business to the 10x that my colleague mentioned earlier. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Clara. I will take a final comment from SC now. When the GPs want to talk, you must listen to them all. They are the ones sitting on the money. So let's take a final.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to reiterate what Dennis first said. He talked about being open and transparent. And even though these are transaction advisors who help you to get money from us, these are the same people that we go to when we want to validate whether or not to do an investment. And so if you hide things, you try to smoothen things, they will find you out and they will tell us. What that actually means is that you are misleading us, you are deceiving us, and integrity is a key issue. Once you do that, you try to cover up things, we'll probably just walk out. So if you don't have something, you've learned that there are impact funds, you've learned that there's TA services available. Some of these things they say they do for free. These are things that the investor can actually hire them to take care of for you. So if we ask for information and you don't have, just tell us you don't have it. If we ask for SOPs and you don't have it, just say you don't have it. Okay, these are the things. I mean, if it wasn't a business we were interested in, we will not spend the time and the energy looking at the deal. So when we actually look at the deal, it doesn't mean that we will invest automatically, but there's a very good chance that we will. Having paid these people to come and look at the business for us. And so if there are deficiencies, we are value add capital providers. We are there to help you fix the problem, and we are going to be in it with you for the long haul. So don't cover up things, don't try to smoothen things, don't try to lie to us, just say it. Just be upfront, and if there are issues, we'll help you fix it while we give you the money that you're looking for. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So there's a short video from on 3i that we want to see. So maybe the video can screen, and then Emilia will just wrap up everything. Thank you.
I hope you all know the 3i Summit is happening in May, powered by the Bank of Ghana. Is there any sound? So we hope to see you there and continue the conversation going.
Thank you all so much. Please let's do it better for the panelists. And thank you so much, Mr. Osei, for stepping in for Nelson. So just as Isaac has said, the 3I Summit is coming up. Just to encourage you, in this ecosystem, you know that there's a need for persistent action, more action that will drive the needed impact we are looking for. And so, apart from the 3I, there's the Ghana Impact Summit as well. So just stay on the lookout for these events and then join us when you can. I just want to say that you've been a fantastic audience, very well seated throughout the session when we started, and we just want to say a very big thank you for your time. Out there now, we have a cocktail session and a networking session. Use that opportunity to catch up with a few people in the ecosystem, in the industry, and do what you have to do. Thank you so much for having us.